Carrie, do you remember the Washington Post? How'd the Washington Post feel about mail-in voting?
Oh, I know what you're going to talk about. Well, now the Washington Post is again. Before they were totally happy with it. They were happy with it. They felt like it should be done for COVID and to make sure everyone gets to vote, and there would be no problems with it. That it's safe and we secure, and there's no potential for fraud. We should definitely do universal mail-in voting. But now I know they feel differently. Why?
Yeah, well, I mean, mail-in ballots are great and fine and everything. Now, Washington Post is owned by, for those who don't know, Jeff Bezos, who is also the CEO and founder of Amazon. Well, what do you know, Carrie? What do you know? It turns out, and I know this will shock you, that might not have been a principled stance that the Washington Post took. It might have been a stance based on an agenda, and they might be willing to flip that stance. Maybe Bezos doesn't really have a principled stance about mail-in voting. Let's take a look here. Well, guess what Amazon's doing? Amazon is in the middle of people at their Bessemer warehouse are going to vote on whether to unionize or not. And Amazon's actually quite concerned about mail-in voting, because what if it turns out that mail-in voting is problematic? And so here, let's find the right window here for you. So Amazon filed a few legal documents with the National Labor Relations Board in an attempt to stop or forestall the upcoming mail-in vote. Hey, they say this election case presents a perfect storm. There could be errors, opportunities for missed mail-in ballot improvements. Hey, the rights of thousands of employees are at stake. You can't let mail-in voting continue. We seek the immediate intervention and a stay of a mail ballot election currently scheduled to start February 8th. Oh, okay. Let's just take a look. One of their things, I haven't read the whole filing, but I've read some of it. Here's one of the most salient points here. The board should adopt a workable standard that promotes manual elections. Oh, that's what they want. Or alternatively, mixed manual mail-in elections. They don't like this prolonged use of mail ballot elections, and they go on to make an argument about what outbreaks should mean and why we don't want mail-in elections. We don't have to go into the details of this too much. The important thing here to note is that it turns out mail-in voting is problematic. You got to be careful. I don't know why no one said this before. I mean, maybe the Washington Post could have written something about it before, but it turns out it's a problem. And actually, Jack Posobiec tweeted about this, and he was just talking about the Amazon case, and he cited the Amazon case, and Twitter still flagged his tweet as like, hey, stop questioning mail-in voting. So sometimes the censors have to catch up with themselves.
Oh, totally. They also, I think, didn't they take his tweet down at some point?
I don't know if they took it down or not.
Oh, okay. But you can't. They don't like when you point out the hypocrisy and the way it doesn't make any sense. Like, wait a minute. I thought mail-in ballots were cool when it comes to a presidential election. No big deal. But now with
they're fine for presidential elections, but when you're talking about unionizing Amazon warehouse employees, then you ought to be really careful.
Fine.
I mean, the important stuff like unionization of employees, that you need to take seriously. The presidential election, I mean, who cares? Who cares? It's not a big deal.
Right.